You're just heading to bed and you're settling down for the night, a good night to you, Central Georgia, and anyone else watching anywhere. Right now, this is 12:41 in the morning, and we did get an 11 p.m. update on Hurricane Helene. So let's see where we stand as of right now and what the latest updates are. So still a Category 1 storm with sustained winds of 85 miles an hour. So that's about 10 miles an hour short of Category 2 status. A central pressure of 972, so continuing to drop on down. The lower that pressure continues to dip into the 900s. That is a sign of strengthening with Helene, and moving north at 9 miles an hour now. So it was moving northwest at the beginning of yesterday, made a little bit of a north-northwest turn, and now moving dead north, which is exactly like forecasted, into that eastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. 11 p.m. advisory right there. Let's go ahead and drag it on out, kind of see what the latest cone update is from the National Hurricane Center. So let's go through these first two stamps. By about 8 a.m. today, we are looking at this to be a Category 2 storm. And not only that, we are actually expecting strengthening, maybe jumping a category, or rapidly intensifying, rather I should say. Obviously, these are timestamps that are about 12 hours apart, so we'll get better updates in between. So going to move into a Category 3 storm, and then eventually a Category 4 storm as it does make landfall sometime later on this evening. So right there, that's 8 p.m. and you can definitely see it's still got a little bit to go between the center of circulation and land right there. But once it gets up here into central Georgia, we are looking at this to still maintain hurricane status, Category 1 status, whether that's a little bit on the lower end. We were looking at about 80 mile an hour sustained winds associated with Helene when it does move through central Georgia here. And then as it treks into the northern portion of the state, that's when it'll weaken back into a tropical storm. So really showing you the timestamps right there. Going to make landfall as a major hurricane, 130 mile an hour sustained winds, and the occasional gusts that are even faster than that. But by the time we get into 8 a.m. on Friday, just 12 hours later, it's already in the northern portion of Georgia when it's going to make landfall somewhere on the Florida Panhandle, the Big Bend area, and it is also going to weaken its winds by about 70 miles an hour. So really showing you how fast that weakening process is associated with tropical systems as they do move over land. But not before it packs quite a punch here in central Georgia, especially along the Big Bend area, areas closer to landfall. Obviously going to have the risk of storm surge. We don't really have that this far inland, but with the amount of rain that is forecasted and already receiving rain right now here in central Georgia, we are definitely looking at some flash flood risk all over our area. So let's pop it over to the current satellite and radar picture. Yes, this is what happens when a frontal boundary approaches and you get the outer bands of Helene starting to mixing with that. So obviously a frontal boundary has plenty of lift ahead of it, and then that's going to collide with tropical moisture. That's going to create widespread rain all over central Georgia early this morning. And you can see some pockets of heavier rain like further over here to the west in areas like Taylor County, Crawford County, up into Monroe County. And we also have this green box right here. Actually, if I pop over to the palettes, I can go ahead and take off the lightning and the satellite. And where's the radar? There you go. So, and then I can zoom in on these two. All right, well, we just got a tornado warning in for Bleckley, Dodge, and Pulaski. So what we're going to do, we're going to go live on the air here in 13 WMAZ News. So JB, anyone listening digital wise, we're definitely going to need to go on the air. We have a tornado warning currently. I'm going to keep talking because I know I am on the stream as of right now. So this tornado warning right now for Bleckley, Dodge, Pulaski, and this is going to go until 11:15 early this morning. I'm going to pop it over to our current radar graphic. So obviously was doing a tropics update, but things happen with this and we were expecting some severe weather in the forecast for tonight. So we are going to go ahead and cover this. So let's pop it over to the live radar and let's start picking this apart. So right now, Bleckley, Dodge, Pulaski, you guys need to be in your tornado safe space if you are listening as of right now. I know this is in the overnight hours, many of you obviously asleep. But but definitely need to go into your tornado safe space right now if you are not. I'm going to pop it over to our actual radar. It gives me a little bit of a better picture. So yes, you can definitely see pockets of very heavy rain right there. I imagine this is probably where we're picking up on some rotation. We'll take a look at that in just a second, and a couple of lightning strikes embedded within this. So once again, Bleckley, Dodge, Pulaski counties, this is where this tornado warning is. This is going to go for about the next 30 minutes. And yes, the National Weather Service has picked up on some rotation in this area. So definitely go inside, go into that interior-most room in your home and away from windows, as there is a tornado warned storm right there, areas south of Eastman and just to the east of Abbeville, and definitely all areas in between. So going to take it over to our winds. Yeah, definitely seeing the rotation right there. So when you see these colors differentiating very closely together, so just north of Rhine right now, that's where we're picking up on some rotation in areas that you see right here, local areas just to the east of Abbeville, Milan, Chauncey, and then definitely Rhine as well. Guys, go into your tornado safe space now. I'm going to keep zooming in, see if I can get a very local picture. So the highways we're looking at is State Route 117, State Route 165, Highway 280 down in southern Dodge County. That is where we're picking up on this rotation right here, according to our radar. I'm going to pop it over to our correlation coefficient. Definitely seeing some brighter colors embedded within this. So when you start to see some of these yellow colors, that's indicative of what we call potential lofted debris, or a correlation coefficient. That's kind of picking up on anything that's not weather related on the radar. So anything like debris being blown around. Not seeing too many bright colors right here as of right now, but you can definitely see a couple of colors that are a little bit different than everything else. Not entirely sure. And trying to make sure. Okay. So good morning, Central Georgia. This is meteorologist Alex Pry. We have gotten a tornado warning right now overnight, and this is right now is going to go for Bleckley, Dodge, and Pulaski counties. You can definitely see this red box right here. So this is definitely stretching a pretty far amount, moving from south to north across Dodge County. Right now, that center of rotation, I'll show you that in just a second. It is just to the north of Rhine in southern Dodge County, but obviously areas like Eastman within this tornado warning box, just to the east of Abbeville, Milan, Chauncey, anywhere in Dodge County, Pulaski County, and Bleckley County. You guys need to be going to your tornado safe space right now, because there's a tornado warning, and definitely go to the interior-most room that you can in your home. Definitely get away from windows, obviously picking up on some rotation. I'll show you that right here, popping it over to the base velocity. So these two colors that are really differentiating. So you'll kind of see that gray right there just to the north of Rhine, and also that light blue. And once you get those colors that are differentiating in a tight space, that's indicative of winds going in different directions. So that's what we're picking up right now in terms of base velocity. So right now, this warning is going to go until Thursday. Well, this morning, obviously, for about the next 30 minutes or so until 1:15 a.m. So we're going to continue to see what the National Weather Service is having to say about this. I'm going to pop it over to the chat really quick. But like I said, right now, areas like Rhine, and then we'll take it very local. We'll go Highway 117 in southern Dodge County, where it starts to merge with Highway 165, Georgia State route, rather, I should say, and continuing a northward trek up Highway 117 into southern Dodge County. So anywhere in Dodge County, definitely go into your tornado safe space as of right now. But like I said, this warning does extend into parts of Bleckley County, into parts of Pulaski County. You guys need to be in your tornado safe space right now, as we do have this warning that did kind of pop on up. I was doing a tropics update, and this is kind of what we are expecting a little bit. This is definitely courtesy of tropical moisture colliding with our front, creating rain all over central Georgia, but definitely picking up on the rotation as of right now. Taking a look at the chat right now. Shower, so I would say the threat for, yes. So at midnight, we did get a notification that a few of these showers have a marginal risk and some broad rotation within them, and that's what the National Weather Service is picking up with as of right now. I'm going to throw it over to the correlation coefficient. So this is our potential lofted debris. So what that means is the radar is picking up on non-meteorological aspects that are in the air, and obviously not seeing too many bright colors. When you start to see some bright yellows or some bright blues, that's indicative of something non-meteorological being blown in the air. Not seeing a good indication of that, but just to the north of Rhine, kind of where we're picking up on that rotation, we definitely are seeing a couple colors that are a little differentiating than that really broad maroon color that you are seeing. But right now, going to continue to monitor this rotation. This is a really good signature right now, and like I said, moving directly north up Highway 117. So if you live along Highway 117 in southern Dodge County, just to the south of Eastman, areas like Godwinsville, Chauncey, getting on up into the Eastman area, you guys definitely need to be in your tornado safe space. You are in the most imminent risk of this tornado warning as of right now. And I'm going to pop it back over to the radar. This is always a good indication of possibly some notches that we can see, but obviously this is just a huge swath of rain all over central Georgia. So when you start to pick up on these darker colors right here, indicative of that heavy precipitation that we are receiving, that's when you can see things like this pop on up. Getting another beep, trying to figure out what that is. That could be some updates to our tropical storm watches and warnings. We won't worry about that right now. Not worrying about the most intense impacts of Helene really until the overnight hours tonight on into Friday morning. But this is definitely a more pressing matter as of right now. This tornado warning, like I said, for Bleckley, Dodge, and Pulaski, this is going to go for about the next 30 minutes, and we are going to continue to keep a close eye on this area of rotation that is just to the north of Rhine, moving up State Route 117, areas like Eastman, Godwinsville, Chauncey. You guys need to be in your tornado safe space, but also areas in Bleckley County, areas in Pulaski County. You need to be in your tornado safe space as well. So all three of these counties, that's where this tornado warning is outlined as of right now. Did just get a new radar signature, and it does look like that light blue cluster that you did see on the right side. Not quite as strong, but still seeing some light green. That's also indicative still of a little bit of rotation. So hopefully we continue to see this dissipate. Like we're saying, these spin-up tornadoes associated with these tropical storms, obviously not dealing with Helene really besides these outer bands right now, but we are going to continue to see kind of spin-up tornadoes, hopefully going to continue to be short-lived. But right now we are going to continue to monitor this, moving up, like I said, State Route 117 right now. So if I take it very, very local, like I said, we're looking at Highway 117, but Godwinsville obviously next in line, really not directly in line, but definitely not something you want to be outside for, and definitely in your tornado safe space. And like I said, your tornado safe space is going to be the interior-most room in your home that you can find, away from windows. Just go in there, and I will let you know when this warning does expire, when it is all clear. But we still are picking up on some rotation, an area of rotation, and not really getting anything in terms of a confirmed tornado, not seeing any messages of that as of yet. But very close past Godwinsville, we're looking at downtown Eastman, Highway 23, all the way up Highway 117, where all these roads kind of merge as you get into downtown Eastman, is where we're looking at this tornado warning for right now. But like I said, this does go for Bleckley and Pulaski. The very edge of Pulaski is where this box does extend to, and then the box does end just south of Cochran, but you guys need to be weather aware right now. It is definitely in the southern portion of Dodge County right now, this area of rotation, but still just kind of stay posted and definitely be ready to go into your tornado safe space. Hopefully we're going to continue to see signs of weakening associated with this rotation, but right now just seeing minuscule amounts of that. Also, a few lightning strikes around, nothing really worth worrying about in terms of that. Still seeing that signature right there, those colors that are differentiating. We're going to continue to watch this. Like I said, moving up Highway 117 down in Dodge County, southern Dodge County, just to the north of Rhine, but areas surrounding that are still really included within this box or in close proximity of this box are going to include Dodge County High that you do see right there. Dubois, Bailey's Park, Roddy, Fraser, Bryant, Plainfield. You guys are obviously a little bit away from this area of rotation right now. I definitely do believe that right now Godwinsville and Eastman need to be the focus. So if you guys are tuning in and you're getting the notifications on your phone, this is a tornado warning down in southern Dodge County continuing to move northward. You guys need to be going into your tornado safe space right now, and you need to be going to that interior-most room in your home away from windows until I tell you that it is all good to come out. Obviously, overnight storms, that's the risk that we're really looking at. Many of you are trying to go to sleep and not really paying attention until you get something, notification like that on your phone. So definitely not something that is ideal, but I am glad that hopefully many of you are within the safety of your home already. All you have to do is just go to that interior-most room. So still picking up on a little bit of rotation right here, and I'm monitoring the National Weather Service chat, not seeing anything. Just the latest update was that tornado warning being issued. And I'm going to actually click it and get some details on this. So, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Rhine or near Abbeville, moving north at 25 miles an hour. So, I'm going to take our track right here and north at 25 miles an hour. So, to kind of give you a time estimate for some areas right here. Well, not necessarily popping up right now, but moving north at 25 miles an hour. Eastman, if this rotation is to hold together, you can expect impacts within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Definitely want to get into your tornado safe space, and Godwinsville, just to the southeast of Eastman, going to feel the impacts even sooner than that, maybe within the next 5 minutes. So that's why I'm saying it is very, very important that you get into your tornado safe space as of right now. Locations include Cochrane, Eastman, Chester, Rhine, Union, Dubois, Greston, Plainfield, Empire, Yonkers, Roddy, Bailey's Park, 5 Points, and Godwinsville. So if you live in any of those towns that I did just mention, you need to be going into your tornado safe space right now. This is a tornado warning for Dodge County, Bleckley County, and Pulaski County, and this will go for about the next 20 minutes. Hopefully, we're going to try to pick up on some weakening associated with this, but some rotation indicated on our velocity right here. You can definitely see the differentiating colors right next to each other. And like I said, those differentiating colors indicative of winds going in different directions. So we're picking up on some sort of rotation as this is trekking directly north, really right along State Route 117, just to the south of Eastman, but really close to the Godwinsville area as of now. So Dodge County, definitely need to be in your tornado safe space if you're in any of those places I just mentioned in Dodge County. But also, this does clip parts of eastern Pulaski County and gets into the southern portion of Bleckley County, just to the south of Cochrane. We're going to see if it holds together, but you guys still need to be listening closely for any updates, maybe an extension of this warning, or to see if this rotation does hold together. So right now, areas like Cochrane, Hawkinsville, Dexter, Cadwell, over not even in this warning in Lawrence County, you guys definitely need to be paying close attention to this and being sure that you are in a safe spot in your home, because you definitely are in close proximity of this warning, and we could see a shift in path, or we could also see an extension of this warning if this rotation is to hold together. But like I said, the most immediate danger that we are looking at is Eastman and Godwinsville. So we're picking up on that rotation. No confirmed tornado as of right now, just picking up on some rotation. I'm continuing to monitor the chat to see if there are any updates with this. And we have seen our fair share of tornado warnings already throughout, I guess yesterday now, or throughout Wednesday evening, some in North Georgia, some in South Georgia. Now Central Georgia is getting added to that. So yes, continuing to monitor this rotation, and even nonetheless, if there is a confirmed tornado or not, definitely some very heavy rain associated with this and some lightning strikes around, but also I'll pop it over to the hail as well. Not picking up on any hail, so that's one less thing to worry about, but still very heavy rain and definitely some gusty winds associated with this, whether the rotation is spiraling down a funnel cloud or not. So continuing to monitor this, and definitely need to be indoors for the duration of this tornado warning, and I will let you know if we do get an extension. We will be keeping a very close eye on this. So obviously not quite ideal going into the overnight hours tonight and well before the impacts of Helene that we are expecting. So we are going to continue to monitor this, and we are going to be working throughout the next 36 hours, and we are definitely a full staff weather team and making sure that you are prepared for everything you need to know, especially like this, getting a 1 a.m. tornado warning on a weeknight. So. All right, new radar scan came in. That's good sign. So not seeing any light blue colors right there, still some light green, and then you're seeing that gray area right there. That's also another area that we're looking at the winds kind of going in a different direction. So hopefully this is a sign of weakening, still not out of the woods just yet. This warning does go until 1:15 rather, excuse me. So for about another 14 minutes, definitely don't move out of your tornado safe space until this warning is allowed to expire, or I do give you the all clear. Like I said, Godwinsville and Eastman, those are the two areas that I am worried about most right now, and this is the two areas that are going to see the most immediate impacts from this severe thunderstorm or heavy thunderstorm that is also picking up on some rotation. I apologize. So when I was saying Du Bois, excuse me. So all these areas, I'll read through all the cities that I mentioned once again. So if you live in any of these cities and towns that I'm about to mention, I'm going to drag it back down here so you guys can get the image of the area we are monitoring. It's that big gray area, and then over to the right, we're still looking at some light green, but there definitely are signs of weakening, not seeing as much of that light blue color, which are really strong winds. You can see right up there on the legend just under base velocity. So when they're green, they're definitely blowing towards, but then when you get to kind of the red colors, obviously not seeing any of that, but then you're getting kind of on the lower end of the away spectrum. So definitely some weak rotation indicated by this on the radar. So we are going to continue to watch this very, very closely until this warning is allowed to expire. But once again, I'm going to read off all the towns that are included in this tornado warning. Cochrane, Eastman, Chester, Rhine, Union, Du Bois, Greston, Plainfield, Empire, Yonkers, Roddy, Bailey's Park, 5 Points, and Godwinsville. Obviously the main concern right now, Godwinsville, and then moving into downtown Eastman right here that we are seeing here on the radar. Get into your tornado safe space and don't come out until I say so, but just continue to stay updated. Like I said, there are signs of weakening. Hopefully we continue to see this trend as this tornado warning is going to expire sometime in about the next 10 minutes, or 12 minutes, excuse me. So this was picked up just north of Rhine in southern Dodge County and moving really directly along that Highway 117 corridor straight into downtown Eastman. So that's obviously one of the more populated area in Dodge County, definitely wanting to ensure that all of you guys are properly informed as this tornado warning is still ongoing. Godwinsville, definitely seeing it pass a little bit to the southwest as of right now, but that doesn't mean you're completely in the clear. Definitely still need to be in your tornado safe space as there are some strong winds associated with this still and some pretty heavy rain. So definitely want to be inside for that. And obviously things like trees going to be more prone to being blown over. We're already seeing our fair share of flash flood warnings here in central Georgia. So we are going to continue to watch this very, very closely, and trees, like I was mentioning, more susceptible to being blown over whenever the soil is very saturated from some heavy rain. And think of this as really the beginning of a very active next 36 hours here in central Georgia associated with Hurricane Helene, but also right now this is outer bands from Helene colliding with our cold front that was approaching. So that cold front kind of draping into central Georgia a little more than we thought, and we did have that level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather. The possibility of a spin-up tornado was there, so definitely couldn't have been ruled out overnight, and that's why Ben and I made sure that we had someone here overnight to cover anything in case it popped up just like this. Still getting some base velocity readings and not seeing those light blue colors. Like I said, that's what you really don't want to see. Those are very fast winds that are circulating one another, not seeing that, and that circulation really passing to the west of Godwinsville as of right now. So let's go into some very local roads. So this rotation right here, this gray area kind of touching this light green area just to the south of Eastman. I'll get into some very local, see if I can get some of these road names to pop on up. this is where you're really getting into that southern portion of downtown Eastman. So Pine Ridge Road, Minter Drive, Pine Haven Road, Main Street, Hidden Acres Road. So really, yes, all you can see downtown Eastman is directly where this is heading, just moving directly north at about 25 miles an hour. Just to the west of Godwinsville right now is this area of circulation that we are continuing to monitor. No more updates from the National Weather Service as of right now. They have continued the tornado warning, which means that they're still picking up on this rotation just like we are on our radar, and they're going to allow it to go until that 1:15 a.m. Time right there. And maybe it will be allowed to expire once it does get to that time. But for right now, we're still going to treat this as a tornado warned storm picking up on that rotation, like I had mentioned, and along with some heavy rain and occasional lightning flashes. So yes, you definitely see the darker colors, the maroons, maybe getting into some shades of pink as we are heading into downtown Eastman. So State Route 117, State Route 87, Highway 23, McRae Highway, and then eventually downtown Eastman is where we're really looking at this to have the next impacts, whether it is just some heavy rain and some gusty winds, or if this rotation is still continuing to pick up on, or we're still continuing to pick up on this rotation. All right, so like I said, this potential lofted debris, when you start to see some of those brighter colors, you'll see the yellows, maybe even some royal blues enveloped within this. Not seeing too much as of right now. So obviously you see these lines going on down. These are the brighter colors. This is just kind of an area of the radar that getting a little bit of backscatter, something other than meteorological elements, but still I'm not seeing anything that's really indicative of any debris flying around in the air, which is good. Yeah, but yes, you see these two lines going straight down parallel to each other. Obviously I think that's just a little bit of a glitch right there in the radar. Sometimes it doesn't pick up on things the best according to the curvature of the earth, how high some areas are compared to others. So obviously not a flat earth, so maybe picking up on some things like possibly treetops or maybe even just some of that sideways rain depending on how heavy it is. So right now, continuing to monitor this just south of Eastman right now, and like I have been saying, Bleckley, Dodge, Pulaski. If you live in these three counties, be in your tornado safe space right now. Just go to the interior-most room in your home, be away from those windows, and continue to stay updated until this warning is either allowed to expire at 1:15 or it is going to get extended down in Dodge County. But this started just to the north of Rhine in that southern tip of Dodge County, moving directly north at about 25 miles an hour. So areas like Eastman going to feel the impacts of these gusty winds and heavy rain, or this possible area of rotation that we are continuing to monitor. And like I said, if you're just tuning in, these two areas that are differentiating in colors very close together. So kind of getting into the northwest of Godwinsville, right along where State Route 117 merges with State Route 87, and then Highway 23, McRae Highway, just to the south of downtown Eastman. So downtown Eastman, definitely need to be in your tornado safe space as well. I hope many of you are already in the safety of your homes because it is the overnight hours. So that part of an overnight severe weather risk is always beneficial, but never like to get these overnight storms because many of you are asleep and probably getting woken up by your notification system on your phone. So not picking up any hail, that's one good thing associated with this, but still continuing to monitor this tornado warned storm that is in Eastman, or just south of Eastman as of right now. Just taking a quick look at this statement from the National Weather Service. They continue to say a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. So that is a good sign that we haven't seen a confirmed tornado signal as of yet, but still continuing to monitor that possible rotation just to the south of Eastman. So definitely don't want to, or is better to be safe than sorry. So continue to be in that tornado safe space within your home. Starting to see some lightning strikes just to the south, southwest of Eastman. And like I said, Godwinsville, still be in your tornado safe space, even areas I have mentioned. And maybe you see, oh yeah, it's gone past me. Nope. We still have this tornado warning, and be in your safe space until this warning is allowed to expire, and I tell you that it is safe to do so. But nonetheless, just some pockets of heavy rain really that we are seeing associated with outer bands from Helene kind of colliding with our frontal boundary that was approaching from the west-northwest as of yesterday. But some areas that are further to the north of Eastman include Plainfield, Dodge High, Du Bois, Bailey's Park once you get on into southern Bleckley County, and then areas of East Pulaski County as well, still included in this, along Highway 341, getting to Highway 23 as it goes north of downtown Eastman, and then obviously State Route 117, State Route 46, all these roads that really kind of come together in downtown Eastman. So that's what we're looking at right now. Let's pop it back over to that potential lofted debris. Still seeing some bright colors there. Still, once you start to see bigger clusters of those, that's when we're really looking at some potential lofted debris, some non-meteorological elements like tree branches or structures that are possibly being blown around, but still not indicating a confirmed tornado as of right now, and still just monitoring some now a little bit broader rotation. We're definitely seeing this gray area expand, which is good news. Hopefully those winds in that direction are just going to continue to take on over. Obviously still a severe thunderstorm with some heavy rain and some gusty winds. You never want to see that, but this is hopefully indicative that these winds are going to take over in a general direction just one way and not start to circulate when you get winds deferring and going different directions and starting to rotate. So hopefully this light green continues to get kind of into those colors that you see just to the left of that red polygon. You're starting to see some of those darker greens enveloped right there where the light greens are along Highway 23. That's when we'll start to see, okay, hopefully there's a little less rotation associated with this. Once again, we'll take a big picture view for anyone that's just tuning in. A tornado warning right now for Bleckley, Dodge, Pulaski counties. So this is going to go until the next 3 minutes. We're going to see what the National Weather Service does. If this is allowed to expire, this is definitely something that you will still need to remain inside for, but obviously it is 1 a.m. in the morning, so many of you are already inside. As this is going to come through, this is still going to be a pretty heavy thunderstorm, definitely still a severe thunderstorm that they have outlined associated with this. And this is trekking right into downtown Eastman in Dodge County and is moving north at 25 miles an hour. So if you live north of Eastman in northern Dodge County, in the southern tip of Bleckley County, even around the Cochran area and eastern Pulaski County, definitely need to be inside in your tornado safe space. Like I said, basements, interior most room where you're surrounded by the most walls for potential flying debris that goes through any of those walls. You have an extra layer of protection. And also away from windows. Definitely don't want to be by a window where flying projectiles can definitely go into a window and are more prone to breaking. But like I said, the good news continues to be there is no confirmed tornado associated with this. Not seeing any notifications about that whatsoever. It is really looking like some heavy rain and some very gusty winds as of now, continuing to monitor that rotation. That is really what we are focusing on, because that's when we get those winds going in a different direction, like I mentioned. So really moving into the downtown Eastman area, this is going to make its presence known right now here in the downtown Eastman area. So continue to treat this like a tornado warned storm. We do have 2 minutes left on the warning. We're going to see what it continues to do, but the more radar scans we continue to get, starting to see those darker greens. And like I said, when you start to get the darker greens, that means that the winds are a little bit less in that direction at least, but still going to see its fair share of gusty winds, just not seeing the circulation anymore associated with this. And this comes at a level 1 severe weather risk for the overnight hours tonight. Ben and I were making sure that we had someone here at all times to cover any warnings that did pop on up. So we are going to continue to keep you posted throughout the next busy 36 hours here in central Georgia that is going to be weather-wise. And this is really just kind of the kickoff for that. So like I said, downtown Eastman may be the center of any circulation that there possibly is. We're looking at going a little bit to the east directly of downtown Eastman, but still everyone in Eastman and the north of Eastman, treat this still like the tornado warned storm that it is, and definitely be inside in your tornado safe space. I will let you know when this warning expires. We're going to see actually here in about 10 seconds to see what this warning actually does. I haven't received anything else from the National Weather Service. They did continue the warning around the 1 a.m. hour, so we're going to see what this box does here now. Okay. So this warning has gone away. I'm going to stay on for just a couple more minutes to make sure we don't see a continuation of this or a shift in that red polygon box right now, but this is good signs. Like I said, these darker colors, these darker greens starting to take over when we did see some very light blue. That's those gustier winds, and they're obviously blowing in different directions when you start to see two separate colors mixing in closer together. But still, downtown Eastman, Dodge County, still, we're going to keep a close eye on this for about 2-3 more minutes, or until I get word from the National Weather Service that this has weakened this area of possible rotation. Definitely didn't get a confirmed tornado with this. It could have just been some very gusty winds that were circulating, but still a very severe thunderstorm at that, and we could see a continuation of at least maybe a severe thunderstorm warning as well. And if we do have that, I will go off the live air. I will go onto the 13 WMAZ stream for any severe thunderstorm warnings that we do have. Taking a look at this. Okay. So now we have a special weather statement. So that's one level below a severe thunderstorm warning. The criteria for the wind speeds and any hail parameters, not quite high enough to issue a severe thunderstorm warning. So this area that is moving just to the east of downtown Eastman still is going to pack a punch. It is still a strong thunderstorm, don't get me wrong, and now Lawrence County has been included in this special weather statement. Let me give you a couple values right here before we do jump off the air, because we do not have that tornado warning anymore. It was allowed to expire just a minute ago. Up to 40-mile-an-hour winds, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. Obviously seeing a couple of lightning strikes to the southwest of Eastman right there, but still nothing really clustering together that would be indicative of maybe a hail core, really intense rain like a severe thunderstorm typically would have. Expect minor damage to the tree limbs and the blowing around of light unsecured objects, and obviously the heavy rain. We're going to have to continue to monitor that, not only here but all over central Georgia. So right now, locations going to be impacted. This special weather statement is going for Eastman, Chester, Cadwell, Chauncey, Rents, DuBois, Greston, Plainfield, Yonkers, Roddy, Godwinsville, and Empire. So this is still a strong thunderstorm heading into the area, but no tornado warning associated with this anymore. Not picking up on that rotation. I didn't really see anything in terms of potential lofted debris, those non-meteorological elements, things like outdoor furniture and maybe tree limbs getting blown around. So that is good news. Hopefully that is the last we see of this, and this is just going to bring you a steady rain, but still right now a pretty strong thunderstorm heading into a little bit more of a northeasterly direction now, heading into Lawrence County. But we do not have a tornado warning anymore, so I will say you guys are looking good. You are still going to want to remain indoors if you are being cautious. This still is a strong thunderstorm with some gusty winds, but right now we are going to go off air, and if we have any severe thunderstorm warnings pop on up, we're going to go on the stream. But if we do have another tornado warning, you will be the first to know, and we will be live back here on 13 WMAZ.